Do we have a battle brewing in the Broncos secondary? It sure looks that way, Broncos country. All eyes are now shifting to what's shaping up to be a serious showdown at cornerback. And this isn't just your typical camp competition, this might be the start of something much bigger. Right now, it's Riley Moss versus Jiad Baron, a clash of rising talents, both fighting for the coveted CB2 spot opposite Pat Surtain 2. Now, at first glance, some fans might say, wait, isn't Baron a nickel corner? You wouldn't be wrong, that has been his role. But based on what head coach Sean Payton's been saying recently, things might be shifting fast. Payton hasn't exactly been subtle. The praise he's been giving Baron, the Broncos' electric first-round pick in 2025, feels like more than just coach speak. It's almost like he's preparing the fan base for a changing of the guard. As it stands today, Riley Moss holds that CB2 spot. That's his role going into week 1. But if Baron keeps showing what he's been showing in camp, in meetings, in every single rep, it might not be his spot for long. This battle is real, and it's only just getting started. Let's break down Riley Moss, the player, the competitor, the fighter in this battle for CB2. Flashback to 2024, it wasn't a Pro Bowl season, but it certainly wasn't a disappointment either. Moss recorded his first career interception, totaled 8 pass breakups, 86 tackles, and finished with a puff grade of 60.5. Not elite, but solid, reliable, a guy you can trust to line up on the outside and battle all game long. If the Broncos named Moss their starting corner opposite Pat Surtain today, there'd be no outrage because there's real value in what he brings. Let's talk strengths. Moss is explosive, especially in the air. He elevates with power, challenging jump balls like a receiver. He's a physical hitter, aggressive, fearless, and willing to throw his weight around to shut down plays. That kind of physicality is exactly what Denver's secondary needs, and perhaps most impressive, his improved technique. Moss has developed sharp inside leverage control, a weakness in college that's now a strength. There was a moment against Tampa Bay where he held tight coverage on a Mike Evans out route, using that inside leverage to stay right in the pocket and make a beautiful play on the ball. That's the kind of tape that makes coaches take notice. But he's not without flaws. Moss still bites too hard on fakes, quick head turns, or jukes can pull him off his spot. And when it comes to double moves, he sometimes struggles to recover. That aggressiveness, while a strength, can leave him vulnerable against more polished route runners. Still, Riley Moss has the tools. He's not backing down. This battle is far from over. Riley Moss still has room to grow, and he knows it. One of the key areas he must improve: defending double move routes. When a receiver breaks one way, then cuts sharply the other, Moss can sometimes get caught leaning. Whether it's an out and up or a post corner, those split-second hesitations can cost him. That aggressive mentality, jumping routes, trusting instincts, it's a double-edged sword. It creates opportunities for big plays, but also leaves the door open for mistakes. Still, in today's NFL, you'd rather have a corner who plays fearlessly than one who hesitates. And the numbers? They show growth. In 2023, Moss allowed a passer rating of over 100 when targeted. In 2024, he cut that down to 95.4. Now, is that elite shutdown territory? Not yet. You want to see that number dip below 90. But for a young corner still carving out his identity, it's real progress. So here's the big question. Should Riley Moss start at CB2 in week 1? For now, yes. He's earned that right through experience and development. But the margin is razor thin, and with Jiad Baron pushing hard in camp, this competition is far from settled. And speaking of Baron, it's time to talk about him next. Let's shift the spotlight to Jiad Baron, and what a spotlight it is. The more we hear from inside the Broncos camp, the clearer it becomes. Denver didn't just draft Baron to keep him locked inside at nickel. They've got a bigger vision for him, and it's starting to take shape. Sean Payton didn't mince words in his latest press conference. He said it straight. Baron's going to get reps on the outside. Right now, the plan is to keep him inside. That's where he's most comfortable, where his instincts shine. But this coaching staff clearly believes Baron has the tools to do more, a lot more. Now, does that mean Baron will take over Riley Moss's starting role immediately? Not quite. But make no mistake, the Broncos are preparing him to be versatile to be ready. And when you start hearing phrases like outside corner reps from the head coach himself, you know this isn't just a trial run. This is a long-term move, a calculated one. And before we go any further, let's talk about Baron, not just the name, but the player. Because if you think he's just a slot guy, you haven't been paying attention. Jiad Baron is different. You can see it in the way he moves, the way he flows through coverage with near-perfect control. His footwork is clean, his hips fluid, and his reactions are lightning quick. There's a smoothness to his game that jumps off the screen. And it's not just athleticism, it's intelligence. Baron plays with a high-level football IQ. He reads quarterbacks like a veteran, anticipates routes before they develop, and plays with an instinct that simply can't be taught. That's what makes him dangerous. He's a playmaker, pure and simple. 3 defensive touchdowns to his name already, and he's just getting started. Yes, there are concerns. He's slightly undersized for a full-time outside corner. His top-end speed, while solid in short bursts, isn't elite downfield over long routes. He can be tested vertically by big, fast receivers, and that's something opposing offenses may try to exploit. But let's be real, those concerns are minor compared to the talent this guy brings to the field. In this year's draft class, Baron was arguably the most complete cornerback. Bigger and more physical than Maxwell Hairston, more versatile than Will Johnson, faster and more explosive than Trey Amos. He's got the strengths of all 3 rolled into one. And here's the kicker, if needed, he can even drop back and play safety. He showed that flexibility at Texas, giving his defense options wherever they needed him. Simply put, Baron was one of the most dominant defensive players on the field for the Longhorns. And now he's stepping into a Broncos secondary that's looking for exactly that kind of spark. Right now, Jiad Baron is expected to begin his rookie campaign where he's most comfortable, inside at nickel. That's the role he's mastered, the one that fits his instincts like a glove. But Sean Payton made it crystal clear, that's just the beginning. Baron is going to see snaps outside. That's not speculation, that's the plan. So where does he fit best? Inside, where his quick twitch reactions and field vision shine? Or outside, where his athleticism and versatility could give this defense even more flexibility? Truth is, Baron fits in both roles, and that's what makes this so exciting. He's the kind of player who allows Denver to shape their secondary based on matchups, not limitations. Nickel, outside corner, even safety in emergencies, he can do it all. But here's how it stands today. Riley Moss is still the favorite to start opposite Pat Surtain in Week 1. And that's not a knock on Baron, that's a credit to Moss's experience and development. But don't be surprised if Baron gets a start on the boundary sooner than later, maybe even by Week 4 against Cincinnati, covering a receiver like T. Higgins. And don't forget about Jaquan McMillian, another name in this growing rotation. Denver has built real depth in the secondary. What used to be a weakness now looks like a strength, a dynamic, flexible unit with multiple starting caliber pieces. One thing's certain, no one's taking Pat Surtain's spot, that's locked down. But everywhere else, it's a battle, and that's exactly how championship defenses are built. If Jiad Baron proves he can lock down the outside, then why not give him the shot? That's the beauty of this situation. Denver has options, real competition, real depth. And no matter how it shakes out, one thing is clear, the Broncos secondary is rising. Riley Moss, Jiad Baron, Jaquan McMillian, these aren't just names, they're playmakers. And behind Pat Surtain, this unit could become one of the most complete, dynamic secondaries in the entire NFL. The battle is just beginning, but when it's all said and done, the Broncos might walk away with more than just one starter. They might walk away with a defensive identity,